In this episode, we are finally getting down to business and we are building this B20 VTEC. We're going to be checking the bearing clearances and then we're going to be installing the crankshaft for good. I'm going to give you all the torque settings, all the clearances and all the tools you'll need for the job. So let's get to it. Right guys, so a nifty little segue here just to get us some lighting. One of the problems I've always had in this garage is trying to film in the dark and then we just end up with shit grainy footage. So I got these old office lights, so we're just going to wire it up. Yeah, we're just going to wire it up so we can get a bit of extra light on the situation. And of course, where did I get the wire from? I got this old kettle, thankfully. So we cut the wire off this kettle. Right, basically we've already tried this once, but this one keeps tripping the circuit breaker. So there's obviously something faulty with that. So let's try this one. Do you go by any nickname, just so I don't have to keep reeling off the 4 syllables for your name?
I mean, I quite like my name.
I love your name.
Alessandro.
It's a brilliant name.
You can call me Ale.
Are you cool with that?
Either one is fine.
I'll call you Alessandro if you
yeah,
want.
yeah, I prefer Alessandro.
Okay.
The 4 syllables. It's the killer, you know? That's
Yeah, I don't know, maybe if it's a British thing. Then we abbreviate all of our friends down to something easy. Like obviously I'm Rich. Couldn't possibly have the time to say Richard.
I've heard another nickname for Rich.
Yeah, of course, Dick, Dick, double Dick. Yeah, my family do call me Dickie sometimes. My grandfather was affectionately known as Dick. I just rebuffed your mockery there, didn't I? Just like, ha ha ha, you think you can...
I mean, you lived through that entire school year with it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, at this point...
You don't know the Dick. I might get this light working just in time for the sun to go down. And then we just lose all the light altogether. I'm telling you, putting an engine together is probably a couple of hours work, but filming it and making a video out of it is just turns it into like a 20-hour job. Nothing is simple when you're trying to make a video out of it for YouTube. So I hope you appreciate it. And if you do appreciate it, please like and subscribe. Was that too forced in there?
No, that was great.
That
was amazing. Subscribe, press the subscribe button here. Follow here. If you like this content, YouTube thinks you'll like this video down here.
Oh, smart. Yeah, I don't think we're at those levels yet, bud. You again. Right. When the power goes off, the house alarm does this. Right then, what do you reckon? Gonna work?
I mean, let's pray.
Cross your fingers then, everyone. Let there be light. Right, so hopefully now we can actually do some filming. So, in order to do everything that I'm going to show you in this video, here's your shopping list. We're going to do a lot of cleaning. So, gallon of brake cleaner should be enough to get the job done. And you're going to need some aerosol brake cleaner with a tube so you can get that right down into all of the oil passages and give them a good jet out. Some kitchen roll, preferably white, so you can perfectly see if there's any dirt left on any surfaces. A brush, so you can give things a good old scrub. A selection of pipe cleaners, so you can get in all of those crevices and all of those oil journals. And then once it's all cleaned, obviously those metal surfaces are going to be open to the atmosphere, then they're going to be susceptible to moisture. So a little bit of WD-40 sprayed on the surface of that will avoid any flash rust occurring on your freshly machined surfaces. And then when it comes to assembly, goes without saying, we've got our Assembly Lube. I always use Miller's. I've been using Miller's for years. I'm not sponsored by Miller's, but I've just been using it so long. It's just, it's great. It's proven. I love it. Good old Plastiguage. This is what we're going to use to actually measure those clearances. And a feeler gauge, good old feeler gauge. This is what we're going to use to check the clearances on the thrust bearings. And then of course the bearings themselves. For the rod bearings, I've got these ACL Race Series. And for the main bearings, I've got these King Racing. Okay, so let's get it on. Right, and time to give this crankshaft a clean. What I've got here is an assortment of pipe cleaners. Bought these specifically to get in the oil journals. So, and I'm intrigued to see exactly what comes out of here. I'm going to bend the end of the pipe over just a little bit, and we'll see if I can get into that sideways journal down there. Yes! Look at all the crud coming out of there. Wow. Okay, yeah, there's quite a lot of crap that came out of there. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. There you are then, as you can see, very much worth doing. Quite a lot of crud has come out from the oil alleyways. Oil alleyways, is that what we're going to call them? Oil feed lines. Okay, well what we call them isn't important. What is important is that they are clean. You got to think all of that, if not cleaned out, would have to pass by the bearings. And obviously that is not good for your bearings. Now, because of the shine off the brake cleaner, that looks like it could be metallic. I don't think it is. So I'm going to let the brake cleaner dry out and then have another look at this dirt, just to make sure there's no metal flake in there. And this is why I did it on this clean bit of cardboard, so I could see all of the dirt that came out of the crankshaft. There we are, so I've just got the hot air gun out and dried off all of that brake cleaner, and from what I can tell it is just carbon. The lighter bits I suspect are just polish from when I was polishing the journals, and thankfully I don't see anything metallic in there. Funny how most of the dirt has come out of the one end. Right, and I shall give the outside of the crank a good old clean now with a brush. It seems every time I go from a different angle I'm getting more little black bits of carbon out of there. So yeah, when you're doing this, be very, very thorough, going from all angles. Look at that, I can see there's some sitting on there now. brake cleaner has stripped off all of the oils in there. So just to make sure we don't get any flash rust on the surfaces, I'm just going to give them a light misting of WD-40. There we are then. That should stop any flash rust occurring on those lovely machined surfaces. Okay, now she's all clean. Our next step is going to be to insert the bottom half of these bearings, or you might call them shells. Bit of kitchen roll just now, just to give these one final wipe before we insert those bottom bearings. Okay, and I'm running my thumb just over the surface of there just to make sure that it's perfectly flat and clean. Yeah, feels good. Okay, so we're going to match up the tang. One side of your bearing has a tang on it, and you'll see that the tang matches up with the bottom of the journal in the block. Okay, now just so you can have a closer look at that. Okay, so that one's got in nicely. And let's just pop the rest in. There we are, then we've got all those in, seated nicely now. Let's just give you a little flyby. The thrust washers, now I've remembered them, they sit on either side of the second journal. There, just like that. Now, very carefully, place the crankshaft onto your new bearings. Okay, brilliant. Okay, now we've dropped in the crankshaft onto the bearings. We're going to check the clearance on your thrust washers, which on a Honda B20 should be 0.1 to 0.13 of a millimetre. So, right, I'm going to get me, in fact, let's just show you quickly the end float that's in here. So, hopefully you can see in there, if I'm not under shadow. So that end float is what we are going to measure now. Like I said, 0.1 to 0.13. So I will put my feeler gauge in here. Let's show you. This is quite tricky here. Right, so this is the gap in here that you need to get your feeler gauge into. So that is the 0.1, and that is loose. And here is the 0.13. Oh, come on, it's very difficult to do whilst holding the camera. Okay, right, and that doesn't go in. How well can you see that on the camera there? Okay, so that jams at 0.13 and was loose on 0.1. So we know we are between 0.1 and 0.13. Now we've come to a crucial moment in the build. We're going to find out if these bearing clearances are within tolerance. I've got to admit to being a little bit worried at this point, because if you've been following the build, you'll know that we've polished the crank journals, right? And if I took off too much material off the crank journals whilst polishing it, then we're going to have too big a clearances on these bearings. Now, the one thing we've got on our side here is that because we have a high flow oil pump, we actually want slightly looser tolerances. The Honda tolerance is 0.024 to 0.042 millimeters. And what I'm trying to achieve here is actually 0.04 to 0.06, right? Definitely on the looser side. That'll also increase the flow of oil to the rod bearing as well. So extra benefits there. So I guess now all we've got to do is torque down these caps, get these caps back off, and find out if the build is going to stop here. There you go. So hopefully you can see that I am placing it right on the middle, on top of the crank journal. Right, and rinse and repeat all journals. Okay, so there you go. We now have Plastiguage sitting on top of each of the main journals. Okay, so here we have our 5 bearing end caps. I'm going to now just give these a quick clean and fit the new bearings into them, and then we will close them down over the Plastiguage and we will get our clearance gap. Okay, so I've got my nice clean bearing cap now, and like I said, as before, we're going to slot the upper bearing in there, noting the tang. We're going to make sure that that is located dead straight and flush. Okay, perfect. Right, now these bearing caps, they're all numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and they point towards number 1, which is always your pulley end of the engine. Alright, so with the arrow pointing towards that end, we know that we've got it on the right way. We're going to locate it on its 2 dowels, and we can just give that a light tap. Okay, so now I've located that on the dowels. I'm just going to give it a light tap just to send it home nice and level. Okay, right, there you are. Now rinse and repeat for the other 4. Right, and now I've cleaned the bolts, I'm just going to give them a little misting of WD-40, just so we get, just so they glided nicely, and just so we get an accurate torque setting as we tighten them down. Right, it's time to get these torqued down. We're going stage 1, 25 Newton meters. There it is. Right, okay, now important thing here is a nice smooth motion. Ugh. Maybe could have done with a bit more oil on that one. Okay, stage 2, we're going to go to 76 Newton meters. Cross your fingers. If these don't come out in spec, I'm going to be so disappointed. Well, those couple of creaky ones weren't ideal, but thankfully we know we've got the ARP studs going in, right? So a little bit of peace of mind, and that they'll be done. They won't be creaky when we put the crank in for good. Little tip here: when you put your torque wrench away, store it away in your toolbox, unwind it, take the pressure off it. It will make sure it stays calibrated for longer. Right then, nothing for it but to just take these off and pray that we're all in spec. I'm nervous, I'm genuinely nervous. I don't want to have to go and find another set of bearing caps. Whew, okay, right, wish us luck. Yes, that is just an old bar. I do need a longer I do need a longer bar. Oh well, story of our lives, eh, gents. Okay, well, at first glance, they look kind of even. Let's get our Plastiguage gauge. Now, like I said, we're looking for between 0.04 and 0.06 on the on 1, 2, 4 and 5, that's it, and then number 3 can be just a little bit bigger than that. So what we're looking at here then, 0.3. Oh my days. Okay, first one looks good. It is slightly bigger than that 0.05. Yes. Smaller than 0.63, bigger than 0.05. We are in tolerance, guys. And that one is about bang on at 0.05. We wanted this one a little bigger, didn't we? And it does look a little bigger. It's just inside that 0.05, so I'm going to say it's probably 0.052, something like that. Number 4, almost bang on, 0.05. And number 5, bang on, 0.05. What a relief. Oh, I'm so happy. I had a really horrible feeling that it wasn't gonna be right. I thought it was gonna be out of spec. I don't even know what to say now, just floods of relief that I can actually just go ahead and put this together now. This is just the best news. I'm so happy. Oh, brilliant. Yes. You're not going to believe this, guys. After that initial excitement of the bearings being within tolerance, we have now gone 360. And now find out that the ARP head studs that we've got are for a different, they're for an engine with a girdle. So what we have here is 4 caps with equal length studs, and the third cap, the center, is bigger, has longer studs. So what we need is an ARP stud kit that's got 8 studs the same length and 2 longer. And what I've got here is a set for a girdle that has caps 2, 3 and 4 larger. So this kit has 6 longer and 4 shorter. So all that time I spent worrying about having to get new bearings, now got to go shopping for a set of ARP Main Studs. Oh, so disappointing. I'm not going to reuse the stock bolts, so we're going to pause here and the video will resume once I've got a new set of ARP Main Studs. Come on! Right then guys, we're back and we've got now our parts. I've decided not to go with the girdle. So what I did is I bought the correct main stud kit, and if that wasn't clear in the previous scene, then without the girdle you only need 2 longer ones and 2, 4, 6, 8 of the other size, whereas the kit that I had for a girdle has 6 longer ones and 4 shorter ones. Right, so if anybody needs a B18C, in fact B16 as well, if anybody needs a set of main studs for a B series with a girdle, right, these are going cheap, so DM me. Alright, okay. And the other mistake, so if you were screaming at the screen in the previous scene because you'd spotted my mistake, well here it is. Thankfully I've spotted my mistake before we carried on any further, and that is that I used the Honda torque specs with the Honda bolts to check with the Plastiguage. But obviously what we need to do is test the Plastiguage clearance with the increased torque setting of these studs. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to insert the studs, we're going to torque down the caps again with the Plastiguage, and I'm sure the tolerance is going to be tighter with the increased torque setting, but we were on the sort of, we were on the higher side anyway, weren't we? So hopefully these will land around 0.04, which was the higher end of the Honda tolerance. That was 0.24 to 0.042. So I'd like to land in the 0.04-ish range, but let's see, let's get to it. Right, now I'm going to start with the 2 longest studs. 2 longest studs going into journal 3, of course. And obviously I've cleaned out the threads that go into the block here, so hopefully these will sail in by hand nicely. Yeah, that one, okay, they're both bottomed out nicely now. So what I'll do is I'll just measure there, just to see that we've got the same depth on each, see that they have both bottomed out and that we haven't just got a fake bottoming out where it's caught on a thread. Yeah, and they're both protruding from the block 80mm there. So I'm going to get my Allen key now, and what I'll do is I'll wind it down just until it's properly bottomed out, and then I'll back it off just ever so slightly. Right the first time. No, I wasn't. Damn. Right, you Americans, you love your Imperial, don't you? I don't think I've even got any Imperial Allen keys. Right, slightly unconventional, but a T27 Torx head does catch in there. We're not applying any torque to it, right? I'm only just nipping it onto the bottom and then nipping it onto the bottom, and then backing it off slightly. So I'm just going to use the T27. That's literally it, right? Just finger tight. So just know that we're bottomed out for sure. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring it off 1/4 of a thread. And there we have it. I'll do that for all of them now. Right then, now we've got all our studs inserted. We're going to put these caps down with some new Plastiguage, and let's check those clearances again. Oh, 100 danger points if you know who's on my band t-shirt tonight as well, by the way. Oh yeah, and a shout out to Tuning Developments, who got these new studs to me next day. I literally called them once I'd decided I wasn't having a girdle, and I was just going to get the correct studs. I called them last night, and they arrived today. So big up, Tuning Developments, legends, and the price was right as well. And I think he said they were in Chesterfield. Oh well, tuningdevelopments.co.uk. I will put a link to their website in the comments below. Thanks again. Okay, now for the washers. Okay, now before I put these nuts on, we're going to use a little bit of the ARP Lube. Before I apply these nuts, I'm going to see what size they are. I'm going to assume, because they're American, they're 1/2 inch. They might, if we're lucky, be 13. Now 12 pointed. Yeah, 13, but I suspect they're going to be 1/2 inch. 13 it is, because if I start looking for a 1/2 inch 12 point, then it's going to take all night, because I've got 3 toolboxes here and I never use Imperial. My Imperial stuff's... I can't even remember the last time I used any Imperial tools, so they will be at the bottom or the back of some long forgotten drawer, and that's where it'll stay. If you do successfully figure out what's on my t-shirt, then maybe you want to go and watch my other videos and see what band t-shirts I'm wearing in those. Terrible ploy to get you to watch my other videos, I'm sorry. You never know though, you might enjoy them. These feel good. This is nice and smooth. Oh yes. So I'm just going to go hand tight, just so I know they're all home. And the dowels are all seated. And then we're going to use the Honda settings for the first 2 stages, and then the extra ARP torque for the 3rd stage. So that's going to be 25 Newton meters, 76 Newton meters, and then 108 Newton meters. Or in old money, or if you're watching from a country that uses Imperial, looking at you Americans, it's £18 foot, £56 foot, and then £80 foot. Right, then this only goes up to, oh, it does go up to 100 Newton meters. And that'll probably do us, to be honest, 100 Newton meters. I mean, it'd be shy of 8 Newton meters. And to be honest, you know, we're already so far over the standard Honda torque. I'll be happy at 100 Newton meters, to be honest, for these. Not going to worry about that 8 Newton meters. I mean, I have got another torque wrench that will go up to that next level. But I just don't think it's necessary. Whew. Right, now what, again, you're all going to be screaming at the screen. What I should have done on the last run is use a sequence from the middle. So I should have gone 1, 2 on this 3rd journal, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's done is done, because sometimes with my ADHD, I do before I think. You know, you can't put the shit back in the donkey, can you? So, right, I'm going to do a proper sequence this time. And I'm sure you'll all have a good laugh at me straining now to get 100 Newton meters on this and trying to hold the whole engine stand still at the same time. So wish me luck. Ooh. Oh, there goes the GoPro quality. Yeah, cracked the lens on that. That's quality, isn't it? Yeah. Inevitable, I suppose, with my crappy little tripod here. So, awfully sorry if there's a line across the GoPro footage. From here on, I think I've got another lens for it because, yeah, when I bought it, it came with spare lenses. I guess they are quite easy to break. Now, shit, where was I? Oh my god! Where was I? I think I was on this one. Or was I on this one? No, I've done that one. And I've done that one, yes, right, okay. It's in the right order. Oh, Christ. Okay. Oops, missed that one out of sequence. Of course, yeah, this engine's going to blow up because I didn't do the main cranks, the crank mains in order, right? Don't know why I'm checking them again, but there you are. Right. So now we've squashed the Plastiguage. Now we just need to undo it. So let's unwind the old torque wrench. Right, here it is, my trusty bar. It's longer than a torque wrench, so I'll be able to get that off, won't I? Okay. So I'm just going to undo them a little bit, right, rather than just completely release all the tension off one side of it. So I'm just going to go like an eighth. I'm going to back them about an eighth off each one, and to release the tension on the cap evenly. And I shall do it the reverse order this time. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, it's time to cross our fingers again. I wonder how much of a difference there'll be between the £50 and these now at £80. Well, that's actually unwound the stud. Okay, done. Same again. That has really held on to the stud. Okay, so basically when I insert this now, I'm just going to have to be super careful that the stud actually bottoms out and that we don't get half engagement on the stud into the block and then nut travelling down the stud. Right then, the time of reckoning. Okay, I can already see that, I mean, it's a little bit bigger. It's not massively bigger, so the extra torque has definitely made a difference. But I don't think we need to worry about being at tolerance. Famous last words, I know, but initially looking at that, I think we're good. So here's our trusty gauge. And here's my GoPro with the cracked lens. Hopefully that'll still be perfectly good. Alright then, so this first one, try and keep out of the light. Quite tricky with these studs in. I'm trying not to block the light. So it was on 0.05, and I would say that now it's slightly over 0.05 and slightly under 0.38. So I would guess that that is at about 0.42, which which is exactly what we want. I wanted the looser end of the Honda, well, actually exactly where I want it. I was happy with where it was before at 0.05, but now we're actually sitting on that maximum clearance of the Honda OE setting. So yeah, very, very happy with that. So that one is just wider than the 0.38. So I'm going to say that's about 0.42 as well. Now this one hopefully a little bit looser. It's a bit hard because the Plastiguage has sort of half come off in the cap. You know, I can't tell much of a difference in that one to journal 1 and 2. Now, what it should be is journal 3 should be slightly looser than 1, 2, 4 and 5, but it looks about the same to me. Obviously, you know, Plastiguage is never going to be super accurate, right? It's just, with this we can see we're within parameters, which is good enough for me because I know that these journals have had no machine work and the engine was running perfectly well before I took it apart. So the fact that they're just within tolerance is good enough for me. Same there. Same again, all very even, all very much the same, all on that higher end of the Honda setting. So around 0.04, 0.045, something like that, which I'm over the moon at that. That is fantastic. So time to just go ahead now and not break another GoPro and get this bolted up. So now I'm just going to scrape off this Plastiguage and then we will apply some of the Assembly Lube and then we'll torque down our main caps for good. Right now we're in final assembly. We've checked that all these 8 studs are all the way bottomed out and I shall be careful to check that those bottom out, those last 2. Make sure we've got full thread engagement, right? So I've given the shells, the bearings, one last wipe out. Hopefully we'll never see the insides of these again. I'm going to check the mating faces where the caps go onto the block for cleanliness. Okay, I've made the hole quite small. It is coming out very slowly now. I must say this is very satisfying. Also, I'm absolutely over the moon just to be putting the crank in for the final time. It feels like it's taken, well, it doesn't feel like it, it has taken a long time to get to this point. Just want to wipe out the excess behind where that thrust bearing's going on because I don't really want oil behind the thrust bearing. Oh yeah, oh God. And there she goes, she's home. Now if you're wondering how the other thrust washer goes in, you put it on like that and then you clock it round. Whoosh. Let's just settle that in. Again, just checking all surfaces again before putting the caps down. A little bit of assembly lube on top, what do you say? Don't want to go crazy with the lube, but if I can get it between those surfaces. I don't want it to splooge down between the mating surfaces. That's what I'm getting at. So I'm just going to put the tiniest bit on top of the journal. Oh, where is my... What the hell? The joys of ADHD. I never remember where I put anything down. And of course I never put anything back in its rightful home because I just get distracted all the time. The ruler, where is the ruler? What the hell? Okay, it's in the ARP box. But if you are watching closely, then you would know that. Okay. Yeah, that stud is all the way home. Excellent. Okay, first stage, hand tight. And we're going the proper sequence this time. Okay, first stage now, 25 Newton meters. 76. I felt this one just move a little differently to the others. I think maybe it settled down onto the dowel just as I was applying more torque there. So I'm going to just check them all again at this 75 Newton meters. Yeah, they're all good to 75. Right then, final stage, 100 Newton meters. And there we have it. The crankshaft is installed. Hallelujah! And now, the very satisfying part, I'm going to get to rotate it. And God help us if there is any roughness or any catching. Now we're not, because the assembly lube is very thick, we're not going to get that satisfying spinning freely, right? But I suspect I'll be able to rotate it quite easily. Well, I'm nervous now, actually. Oh, it's like silk. It's got the resistance because the assembly lube is so thick, but there's not a hint of any grabbing or anything at all. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Right, I guess that's the end of the video. We've finally got the crankshaft installed in the block. So we'll have it running next week then, yeah? Okay, right, I'm obviously just getting a little overexcited here. I guess the next video we will be installing the rods. So that'll be gapping the piston rings, installing all of the piston rings, and then clearancing the rod ends onto the crank. Hopefully those clearances will be just as good as the main bearing clearances. Yeah, I can't quite think straight. This has been a long time coming for me. You know, I've been planning this engine build for such a long time. To have the crankshaft installed like this now, it's quite a big moment for me. I appreciate it probably might not be for you watching, but I hope that if you're watching along and you are building your own and you're watching because you want to see how this goes together, then I just hope that you get this moment of joy soon, like I'm having right now. I'm so pleased. Right, okay, well thank you so much for watching. If you've got to the end of the video, you're an absolute hero. And if you have enjoyed the content, hopefully I've earned your subscription today. So, thanks very much. See ya.